So we write first equation of line, which we write from this inequality. So we have to plot this line on the graph. First we see here the equation is x equals to 0. We know that equation of y-axis is x equals to 0. That means this y-axis is x is equal to 0. That means we draw a line which is here y-axis. Now we have to write a solution. For that we have to check whether solution lie on this line or on right side of that line or left side of that line. For that we have to take point other than 0. So we consider here, consider 1 1 be the point. Now we know that this point 1 1 lie in first quadrant. So if we consider here on graph 1 1, so the point 1 1 is here. So if this point satisfies this inequality, then we mark on that side, on which side that point lie. Now see here, when we substitute this x equals to 1 in this inequality is x greater or equal to 0. Therefore we substitute x as 1. So 1 greater or equal to 0. We know that here one condition must be satisfied. 1 is greater than 0. That means condition is satisfied, because this 1 greater or equal to 0 implies 1 greater than 0 or 1 equal to 0 and 1 not equal to 0. So 1 greater than 0 condition is satisfied. That means condition is satisfied. So we have to mark for graphical solution towards the point. So in this way you have to mark the line, mark on the line for your graphical solution. So in this way, this is graph form, or you can extend this, or you can use like this also. So in this way, this is solution for this first inequation. So we write here one word. Solution is y-axis. Solution is y-axis and a region right to the y-axis and a region right to the y-axis. So we write this equation of y-axis as x is equal to 0. So in this way you have to write the graphical solution of this first inequality. Now see second inequality, x less or equal to 0. So from this inequality we write equation is x is equal to 0. Here x equals to 0 is again equation of y-axis. So this y-axis has equation x is equal to 0. Now we have to mark for the graphical solution. So we take here same point. So we check point, let point P of 1 1. So we put x is equal to 1 here. Therefore inequality is x less or equal to 0. So here x is 1. So we check 1 less or equal to 0. Here are two possibilities, 1 less than 0 or 1 is equal to 0. Both conditions are not satisfied. That means this point do not satisfy the inequality x less or equal to 0. So we have to mark for graphical solution opposite to the point. So point 1 1 is here and this point do not satisfy this inequality. So we mark arrow opposite to this point. So this point is right side of this y-axis and this point do not satisfy the inequality x less or equal to 0. So we mark opposite to this point. So we mark here to the left of this y-axis. So this y-axis and the region to the y-axis is the graphical solution of this second inequation, that is x less or equals to 0. So in this way you have to write in solution the y-axis and shaded region left to y-axis is graphical solution. So in this way you can extend this arrow or you can mark here in this way also, as we do in class. So this is graphical solution for inequality x less or equals to 0. Now see third inequality, y greater or equals to 0. So from this we write the equation. Therefore equation is y equals to 0, and we know that y equals to 0 is the equation of this x-axis. So we write this equation of x-axis as y equals to 0. Now we have to check whether upper part lies in solution or part below the x-axis lies in the solution. So we take any point. So you can take point as 1, 1. We check the region with the help of point P of 1, 1. So we know that point 1, 1 lie in first quadrant. So point 1, 1 is here. Now we substitute the value of x equals to 1, y equals to 1. Here only y coordinate is present in this inequality. So we have to check y greater than 0 or y is equal to 0. Now here y equals to 1, therefore 1 greater than 0 and second 1 equal to 0. We know that 1 greater than 0, that means first condition is satisfied, second condition is not satisfied. But here y greater or equal to 0 means y greater than 0 or y equal to 0. We require any one condition for satisfying the given inequality. Here one condition is satisfied, 1 greater than 0, that means this point lies in the region. So we mark upper side of this x-axis, which is our graphical solution. So in this way the upper part and this y equal to 0, that means x-axis is the solution of this inequality y equal to 0. So we write here, therefore the x-axis and shaded region above the x-axis is graphical solution of given inequality. See the last sub question. Here inequality is y less or equals to 0. So we get the same equation. Equation is y equals to 0. So we check the region with the help of point 1, 1. So we have inequality y less or equals to 0. That means y strictly less than 0 or y is equal to 0. So we take here y as 1. So 1 less than 0, which is not possible. Then second condition we have to check. 1 equals to 0. The second condition is also not satisfied. That means this point P of 1 1 not lie in the region. So we have to mark here opposite to the point. Now see the graph. Point 1 1 is here. So this point do not satisfy this inequality. So we mark opposite to this point. So we get the marking here. In this way. So shaded region is below the x-axis. So we write y equals to 0 as the solution and the region below this graph. So we write here the shaded region below x-axis and line y equals to 0 is graphical solution. Now see question number second. First sub question, x greater or equals to 0, y greater or equals to 0. So here these two inequality we have to plot with the help of two equations. We write here x is equal to 0, y is equal to 0 are the equations. So from these two inequality, x greater or equal to 0 and y greater or equal to 0, we take two inequalities, x greater or equal to 0. From this we write equation x equals to 0, and from this inequality y greater or equal to 0, we write the equation y equals to 0. So we know that x equals to 0 is the equation of y-axis. So we write this y-axis equation as x equals to 0, and this y equals to 0 is the equation of x-axis. So we write equation of x-axis as y is equal to 0. Now we have to solve these two inequalities graphically. So first we solve for x greater or equal to 0. Same procedure that we use in previous example. So we check the point. Check the point 1 1. So we check this inequality. Therefore, x greater or equal to 0. So from this, when we substitute x equals to 1, so 1 greater than 0. So this inequality holds. So we say that here point 1 is here in first quadrant. So we have to mark. We check x equals to 0. So we mark to the right side of this y-axis. Similarly, we have to check for y greater or equal to 0. So we substitute value of y as 1. So 1 greater than 0. That means for this second inequality also condition is satisfied. So we see here equation of x-axis is y equals to 0. Condition is satisfied. Point is above the x-axis. So we mark here above the x-axis. Now if you observe, we get the common region in first quadrant. We get the common region in first quadrant. So this is feasible region or solution of inequality x greater or equal to 0, y greater or equal to 0. That means you have to just shaded the first quadrant. I shaded for your convenience first. So while drawing the graphical solution, you take one or two arrows, and then when you conclude that quadrant is first, second, third or fourth, then you shaded that quadrant. So we get a graphical solution in first quadrant, so we shaded the first quadrant. So this positive y-axis, this positive x-axis, and the region between this positive x-axis and positive y-axis is our graphical solution. That means this positive x-axis and positive y-axis also included in the graphical solution. Now see, second sub question. Inequalities are x less or equals to 0, y greater or equals to 0. So we check here for x less or equals to 0 and y greater or equals to 0. So first we write the equation. So we write in solution x equals to 0 and y equals to 0 are the equations. So we check the point 1, 1. So inequality is x less or equals to 0. So when we replace the value of x by 1, so 1 is less than 0, 1 is equals to 0, we have to check. We know that 1 is not less than 0, 1 is not equal to 0. That means this inequality does not hold for the point 1, 1. So we have to mark. So first we see x equals to 0 is the equation of y-axis. X is equals to 0 is the equation of y-axis. So this point 1, 1 is in first quadrant. So we have to mark to the left of this y-axis for the graphical solution. So we take some arrow for our convenience. Then at last we will shaded all the region. So this is for x equals to 0, and for y greater or equals to 0 we have to check the condition. So we again take y as 1. So 1 greater than 0 we have to check, 1 equals to 0 we have to check. We know that 1 greater than 0 and 1 not equal to 0. But here one condition is satisfied. So y greater or equals to 0. So from that we write y equals to 0. So x-axis has the equation y equals to 0. So for this we check point P of 1, 1. So we have to mark here to the upper side because this inequality holds for the point 1, 1. So we mark towards this point. So solution. Now here in this second quadrant, for both the regions we get the common region. For both the inequations we get the common region in second quadrant. So we have to shade the second quadrant for the graphical solution. So second quadrant is the graphical solution for this inequality x less or equals to 0, y greater or equals to 0. So we write here the solution set in second quadrant. Similarly for first sub question you have to write solution set in first quadrant for first sub question. So we check for third. Now see third sub question. Inequalities are x less or equals to 0 and y less or equals to 0. So we write equation for this inequations x equals to 0, y equals to 0. So x equals to 0, y equals to 0 are the equations. So again we check the point 1, 1. So we check this 1 less or equals to 0 because x is 1 here. So 1 less than 0 or 1 equals to 0. We know that both the conditions do not satisfy. So for x equals to 0, x equals to 0 is the equation of y-axis. So again we have to check So here point P is 1 1. Now condition is not satisfied, so we have to mark opposite to this point. So marking will be left side to the y-axis. Now we have to check this second inequality, y less or equal to 0. So when we substitute y as 1, so mark 1 less than 0, 1 equals to 0. Here again both conditions are not satisfied. So equation of x-axis is y equals to 0. So point is above the x-axis. So we have to mark below this x-axis. Now in this third quadrant we get the common solution. So this we shaded the third quadrant. So this third quadrant is the graphical solution for these two inequalities, x less or equal to 0, y less or equal to 0. Therefore, solution is third quadrant. Now say last sub question. Inequalities are x greater or equal to 0, y less or equal to 0. So we write the equations x equals to 0, y equals to 0. So we check the point 1 1. So first inequality is x greater or equal to 0. So we replace this x by 1. So 1 greater than 0 and we have to check 1 equal to 0. So this first condition holds. That means this point satisfies this inequality x greater or equal to 0. So we write here this x-axis has equation y equal to 0. This this y-axis has equation x is equal to 0. So we have to check for x equal to 0 and we check this point 1 1 satisfy this inequality x greater or equal to 0. So condition is satisfied. So this inequality holds for this point 1 1. So for x equals to 0, we mark toward this point. Now similarly for this second inequality y less or equal to 0, this point do not satisfy this inequation. So we mark for this y equals to 0 opposite to this point. So we have to mark below the x-axis. So we get the common portion in fourth quadrant. So we shaded the fourth quadrant. So here fourth quadrant solution set is fourth quadrant. So in this way you have to find the solution with the help of this graph.